I'm back. I'm back. I'm doing my day off. I just finished the gym a while ago, and I want to talk its connection with the COVID crisis, its solution as far as effectively fighting against the pandemic, and um, in relation to essential employees, which are gym workers, and the personal health of people in that regard. But I want to give you my personal story. Um, I'm a person that's had a weight problem all my life. I've gone up and down, up and down. I have been heavy set. I slimmed on down. Then I puff it back up and then slim on down again. I'm 51 years old. This has been pretty much the norm throughout all my life. Um, I was, prior to high school, I was kind of what do you call a husky kid. That's a polite word to say I was pretty pretty fat, chubby. By the time I got to high school, I would say one of the few things that went right for me in high school, that horrific experience. Um, I slimmed down and I was a relatively slim person as I entered into college, thinking that the battle of the bulge was finally defeated once and for all. Um, a combination of inactivity as far as exercises were concerned, um, a propensity to not eat right and to party a lot, meaning drinking in excess, caused me to cause a lot of weight gain. Um, and I thought it wasn't fair at the time. Still didn't think it was fair. It happened. I was like, all this crap just pretty much withered away. Um, well, as I said, I mean, looking back in hindsight, it was kind of my fault. But I still think it was unfair, but it was my fault. Um, Several years after college, I started to get the weight back down again, and I kind of managed to keep the weight down, and I was able to do that and be carefree and party at the same time. That was good. Um, Something happened along the way. Well, I was warned that doing these protein shakes, Slim Fast, and whatnot works while you're still at it, but you get too brave and you start to get off of that, the weight would come back, and it kind of did. And I went through several years of trying to get the weight back down, and nothing I could do seemed to be working. And by 2014, I entered a gym, and I Planet Fitness. I went to enrolled in Planet Fitness, and I managed to lose 76 pounds, and more or less kept the weight off all these years. Um, some of the weight came back, which several years ago, I had a promotion against my will with the previous job I had, and it affected my work schedule. And that's kind of where everything is kind of headed with regard to personal health. Anyhow, let me go on. Let's go into the meat and potatoes of it, or as you will, the politics. Started, I guess you could say, my New Year's resolution right. I started to work out again, started to watch what I was eating, and went to the gym diligently every day. And I was making some mild progress. It wasn't as fast as I wanted to be, but I realized wait, you have to kind of be patient and take this crap one day at a time. I did. Um, COVID crisis hits, and my gosh, everything got closed down real quick, including gyms. The bright side, and I mentioned this before, the bright side between mid March and a few weeks ago when I started enrolling in a mom and pop gym was that I didn't gain any weight. That's the upside. Weirdly enough, I started to some of my really bad eating habits came back. I guess I could have found alternative ways of exercising, but it's kind of psychological going to the gym. It's kind of like you go to the gym, you work out, you go and do your thing for an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. You go and crap shave and shower, and you feel a hell of a lot better when you leave. And that little mental high I used to get um, uh, doing my workout, and then my reward was to shower all that crap off of me, all that sweat and ick, that just that icky feeling that I had in my body. It was a good feeling because it was like this icky, nasty feeling was after an hour of doing my workout, and then I could just go and shower this crap off of me. However, I didn't have that high anymore. Now some of the gyms are opening back up, depending on what part of the country and how they're going about it and everything. But the thing about it is, I would think that as far as essential workers, and that's like first responders, and that's like people who work in the sector economies, whether it's grocery or restaurant work, convenience stations, pharmacy, you name it in the service economy. I think that most politicians miss the boat by not considering gym employees as essential workers. Because what is the purpose of a gym? I mean, if going to the gym meant that I'm just there to sculpt my body to make it look nice, and there was no such a thing as personal health problems due to people's activities, um, that'd be one thing. However, going to a gym is very important. We're talking about people's health, personal health. People are there to improve themselves when they go to a gym. They go in there, and I mean, yeah, as I said, I'm a middle-aged man, and I retire in 2031. I'm planning to retire when I'm 62, getting my Social Security, my union pension, you name it. I'm going to retire, and I'm going to try, hopefully to enjoy the next 25, 30 years of my life in relatively good health. That is my plan. And if the gyms and everything shuts down again, I'll be damned if I'm going to sit around and be inactive the way I've been for the last several months prior to going back to the gym. I'm going to be proactive because I have to be. I have to be. But gym workers are essential because people need it exists for people to on my part with this commentary. It's probably as apolitical as it can be. But the problem with closing down the gyms is that it pretty much deprived people of trying to pursue and improve themselves. And to me, that is as essential as you filling up your gas tank to get from point A to point B. It is essential as you getting groceries in the grocery store so you can eat. It is essential for whatever you do in whatever walks of life. It's as essential as having first responders, people who work in the hospitals, people who work with the fire department to put out fires. When the police are not going around abusing minorities, and they're doing what they're supposed to do, and that is to keep the peace and having blind justice for all, then I would lump going to the gym is as essential as all the other lines of work, which are related to essential employees to help society as we go on with this COVID crisis. Um, and just my take. Um, and I would say that people who work in gyms, especially if you work for a big corporate entity, they ought to be paid. They ought to be paid at hazard pay. They ought to, if they don't, under the current health system, they ought to provide free testings and doing everything they can to make it safe for the employees to work at the gym and to not be scared to go to work. And you imagine that if the gyms were open, that the equipment would kind of be socially distanced apart from each other. That's what I would call a common sense measure. Our greater society, as we got a lot of problems with obesity and hypertension and uh, heart trouble, diabetes. Yeah, we got all kinds of problems, and I just think it's irresponsible, even during the darkest times of this COVID crap that's hit amongst us. If there's one place we shouldn't have closed down, it would have been the gyms. I think they're almost as essential as hospitals, health departments. They are. It's there. You're there to improve yourself. Maybe I need to be a crusader for gym membership. Gym operating if there's a second shutdown. Not that I'm exactly the greatest visual illustration of what it means to be in excellent 100% uh, awesome, you know, health on a personal basis. But even with regard to broader society, and this is where I get a little bit political, but in a very benign way. Um, with regard to people's personal health, and this is something I'm not saying that people should be mandated to go to the gyms or whatever, but I sure think it should be made a hell of a lot easier and for people to have good health. And one of the best ways I have realized over the years in working, every time I've had success in my personal health and losing weight or what have you, is that when I have a what you will call a set schedule at work. The reality in the American economy in the last 40 some years is that regular set schedules for work is pretty much on this channel because apparently it affects the algorithms. But I have a propensity to use foul language as a general rule, and I you probably notice I have cut back down on my foul language in the last few months. Only when I'm ticked off, I will, or I had to make a point. But anyway, it is crap that people are, micromanage it to having silly, ass backwards, stupid schedules, which are just unproductive to begin with. And so when you put people on a shift, 9:30 to 6 one day, 12:30 to 9 the next day, 6 to 2:30 the next day, do you think people have the energy to go and make personal decisions for themselves that's going to improve themselves? As I said, I used to work those Mickey Mouse silly hours, swinging around like a yo-yo, just and it was kind of and when you work those kind of hours, that kind of a schedule is unstable, and you really can't do a lot with your personal time, whether it's pleasurable or things that you do need to do, like work out. Now, in some countries, Norway and Sweden, they have it so that whatever time, whatever job you got, whatever schedule you have, because not everything is, not everything is 8 o'clock to 4:30 or 8 o'clock to 5 or 7 to 4 or what have you. I mean, some jobs require kind of what you would call regular hours. I get that. But the best way to handle it is to negotiate that with the people you're hiring. And it makes the employees more productive at work. Not only that, they will have time to balance their social life, their rest time, and their work time together. So they'll have time to go and eat properly, and they will have time to exercise when they need to exercise if that's what they want to do. I'm not saying should be mandated. I'm just saying that the workplace should be emphasizing this and doing what they can to make it easier for people to go ahead and to improve themselves. I think that that's one area where the labor movement is kind of missing today. In that issue, work hours, personal time balance. And in some of those jobs where it is required for you to flip flop and flip flop and flip flop all over the place, I think you should get extra pay for such a employment employee workplace situation. And I feel for people that have to work those kind of hours. But we have an economy that is basically, if it doesn't make any sense, that's the issue, and that's the method they'll go with, and they'll go with it expecting positive outcomes, and those positive outcomes are not going to take place. So this is kind of like my personal crusade for personal good health, and as I said, gyms are essential. Treat those gym workers with dignity. Give them extra pay, hazard pay, and make their health benefits a little more generous for them. All we had to do was encourage people to use masks. Um, I would say UBI, UBI would have solved a lot of problems. A Medicare for all, if we would have already had it in place, we would have far fewer problems than than we have today. The other countries gotten it. They gotten it. The other Western countries have dealt with the situation, and they have kind of not totally defeat COVID, but they kind of put COVID in its place. We handled it the most wrong way you can imagine in this country. We just gave the wealthy trillions of dollars and breadcrumbs to the people. We even gave corporate welfare to companies not even registered in the United States. How obscene is that? I'm not blaming one politician. I'm blaming the two-party system and virtually all the politicians in it, from the executive branch down to the legislative branch, and the silly people that votes for these clowns from both parties. So anyhow, that is my rant for today. And by the way, I'll give you my personal situation with regard to re-enrolling in the gym. You can't tell, but I lost 10 pounds so far since I re-enrolled in the gym. I haven't checked the weight in the last couple of days, but I'm going to at some point, maybe early next week. But I feel better. I'm not gonna tell you I'm gonna be back to where I was 4 or 5 years ago, as thin as I was back then. But I'm gonna try, and I do expect some modest results because I really have controlled myself, and thinner or not in the next 4 or 5 months on this video channel. But I ranted long enough for 20 minutes. Um, if you like what you heard today, just press that like button, share, and subscribe. It's easy to subscribe to that channel. So, and I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So you know what to do. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Because remember, the algorithms are manipulated these days, and social media wants to what they want to make sure alternative voices are not really there, and we got to make sure it is. So if you got something, I don't care. Well, I do care what you stand on politically, but I am a free speech radical. If you got things that you want to share with the world that's unique, and I do think my views are kind of unique. Shouldn't be, but it is. Um, you got a platform, use it. Subscribe, like, share, tell everybody about this channel. Form your own channel. I'm Bernie Bro. Oh, and feel free to comment too. Have a great day.